Mitchell is he's just letting go now. I think he's just shredding patches of himself. You know, he realizes that it's all too much. There's people getting hurt that shouldn't be getting hurt anymore. I mean, I think had he had a chance, he just would have backed out long ago, you know. All he can do is sort of abandon ship, really, and just cut his losses and get out and not hurt anybody else. That's not a bad position to be in. If he was to do that and completely cut ties, end the story, that's not a bad resolution for Mitchell, I don't think, now. At least he knows he can't hurt anybody else, or at least he's not solely responsible for the legacy of these other people that are all bloody innocent, you know. So it's a hard thing to have. So when he shows up at the house after killing Herrick, he's certainly under the mindset that he needs to be stopped and killed, and the only way really is to let his best mate do it. I don't think it was ever the writer's intention in this show to kind of make characters that are likable as such anyway. I think it's hard to write that down. I think you just kind of have to feel it and play it. And I know he's not a bad guy. I don't know what you guys think, but I know he's not a bad guy. This is a consequence of what he does. But I play him, so it's different for me. It's very grey, you know. It's very grey whether he's good or bad. I think George it just all became too much for him, you know. It's too much to deal with. The consequences are getting too huge, you know. It's not worth it for him to be friends with Mitchell anymore. And he's not been knocking around for a century, so he's not done with living yet, unlike Mitchell in a lot of ways. So he has way too much to lose now, and I think he says it in one of the scenes, you know, and he does, and Mitchell realizes that. That's why it turns out the way it does at the end of episode 8, because it's the only way it can, and even Annie sees this, you know. I think he needs to sort of absolve himself of Herrick now, because he's been such a massive influence in his life, good or bad. He needs to get rid of that part of himself. He's such a huge part of Mitchell now. He needs to get rid of that part. I think he needs to get rid of Herrick for everybody else. And I think he needs to rid Herrick of himself. So there's so much going on in that one moment. And it's funny, you know, I remember playing the scene with Herrick, with Jason, and he has that look in his eyes, you know, when I stabbed him. It's a mix between utter shock and I can't believe what you've done to, I can't believe it's all over now. I can't believe this is the end. After everything, this is the end. This is how it ends. So that's what Mitchell does, and he makes the bravest decision that he's sort of certainly made in the entire series. I mean, probably in all three of them, you know. It's a proper decision, a bold decision, and he's right, you know. I think he's right. I think a show like this kind of hits on the important strands of what creates a friendship and sustains a friendship. I think love and loyalty are huge aspects of friendship. They deal with crazy things, and some of them they get through, and some of them they don't. And I think it's a realistic sort of balance on that, and how they deal with them and stuff. And I think it's managed to do that. Something I'm quite proud of about this show. I think they've managed to reflect that very accurately, or very believably anyway. He's cheated life, you know. He's managed to get several lives, good or bad or indifferent. I don't think it matters. I think he's managed to squeeze a lot of living in to his particular lifespan. So I don't think he fears death. I think what Mitchell fears is he just fears blowing it for other people. I think it's the consequences what he fears. He fears ruining life for other people. But it's that mentality I think a lot of those vampires would have. I don't think they fear death that way, you know. I think they fear living. And that's the hard part. The relationship with Mitchell and Annie, it was lovely, and it was lovely that they had what they had. Did it take him saving her to realize it? Probably. Was it always there and just sort of dormant? And does it mean the same thing if it was there anyway? Even the fact that he didn't acknowledge it, does that really matter if in essence he did love her anyway? I don't know, but it was nice to explore that, you know, because there was always something teetering. It will be emotional. It's a funny thing, finishing jobs, you know. You think the emotion will be in the scene, and hopefully bits of it will be, but sometimes that can sort of change things, not always in a good way. You kind of need to keep in the scene and I hate saying this, but in character, and not to be you, because that can be very self-indulgent, you know, just to let your own emotions consume what's going on here. I don't think it's not about me, it's about Mitchell. So I think to serve him right, you need to kind of know where your head's at and stuff. I think at the party, I think when we have a couple of drinks afterwards and stuff, that would be, knowing that there's a lot of people I won't see for a long time, I think will be quite emotional, you know.